Monday morning, start of a new week and start of a new room. This week we're going to start tackling the dining room. As you can see, Adrian's already stuck into it, removing all the sand and cement. Quite a messy job, dusty job.
Gotta be done.
But this is the start of the new things to come. As you can see in this room, apart from the floor, there's not an awful lot to do apart from just general decorating. Quite sure how to tackle the ceiling with the cracks in here. We've got some lovely wood panelling in here. But the COULDN's actually made of plaster and it's painted to look like wood. If you can see over here above the mirror, you can see all the paint's coming off and the plaster beneath. It's quite a dark room and there's been mixed comments about how to decorate this room. Most people like the dark panelling. For me, it's too dark. It's quite a dark room, even with the big windows. I'd like to see it lightened up. But obviously, first, we have to tackle the floor.
So one thing worth mentioning is the parquet flooring that's been removed from here has been saved, thankfully. We've got to make sure we can put that down in the pattern it came up. We have no plan. The original owner who paid a carpenter to do it some time ago has no idea who that is. So as Carol can show on this, all this oak panelling is the pattern. It gives us an idea of the pattern of how the flooring goes. And if we scroll round to the salon, you'll see on the floor that at least the carpenter marked the flooring with numbers, etc. And the panelling, the parquet flooring outside in the hallway does have numbers on there. So if we're any good at jigsaws, we're hoping we can complete it. Now the second challenge we're going to have in here is to make sure that we can get the parquet flooring exactly to the height to match the outside of the room so it all slots together. So even when I've taken all the beams out, we've then got to calculate how to make sure that when we put the parquet flooring, it does line up with the other parquet flooring between the two rooms. So although it looks a lot easier, this room, I think we've got more challenges to come. Does anyone feel like they're in Titanic? It's probably the same, sorry, smaller room than the other two I've already done. So you can see just from panning round, I'm hoping this one won't take too long. The biggest problem will be the original parquet flooring. So here we go again. So as you can see, I've now removed most of the sand and straw out of the beamwork. I can now get to the crisscross patterns and remove that next for then I can remove the floorboards, which are a bit more clearer by the doorway. As you could probably see if I drop down how much the floor is actually dropped, so that part in the middle should be touching the metal girder going across. and I'd say it's probably a couple of inches down. So I was hoping I may not have to remove it, but I think I'm going to have to just in case. So I've drawn up a pattern, because this pattern will obviously give me an indication of where the parquet flooring goes. Now, the previous owner had it removed and has put some markings around the outside to give me a little bit of a clue on the jigsaw puzzle, as you can see. And before I go steaming into it, I thought I'd just try from the pile outside, see if I can find a few clues. And I've managed, I think I've now worked it out. So I've got this one beam, and on there it does say, bear with me a second, F1. And when I come back in, this tells me that sits with that F1 I just showed you. And what was really good is I've seen there's a cutout which shows it goes perfectly against the fireplace there. Well, that then gives me tells me that the pattern which comes across, they're all straights. So I'm pretty sure that they'll be all in straight infill panels. There might be another one across there, and again, then there'll be straight panels back to the door. Whereas in the middle, there'll be batches of parquet flooring as a square. So I'll come back out, and hey ho, if I move this, you'll see that all of those piled up are 450 mils-ish square, which ties in with those. So touch wood, if they're all there, I can then get back to replacing this in the correct form, or the correct position it should be. But there's nothing worse when you finish the jigsaw and there's one piece missing. So fingers crossed on that, and I'll let you know later. Okay, so I've put a laser line on this, and actually it doesn't look that bad. So at least we've got a good edge to work off for leveling up. And in fact, even the laser line up the door is square, which is a good thing. So let's crack on. Right, so as you can see, pretty much all of the pattern beam work is removed. This will leave then the floor planks, which sit on top of the joists, which, if I come round into the light a bit more, you can see. So I'll be removing these as well, and then I can inspect the beams properly. As I said before, you can sometimes look on the beams from underneath, and they're feeling pretty solid, and then you'll see you've got damage on the very tops. So without removing the floorboards, it's impossible to check. And then I can check also when they go into the granite work, etc., to make sure that they haven't rotten away on the ends of the joists, which is quite common. And again, you can sort of get an idea of the sort of height. It's a 4 metre drop in the cellar. But I've got used to heights now, so I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'll remove all these next, assess what we're dealing with. I'm hoping on this room that I don't really need to replace the joists. Otherwise, I'll probably end up having to replace them all. And then the biggest challenge then will be making the floor, lifting the floor so that it meets the original the original parquet flooring by the doorways. So in that 2-door, meeting the chimney, meeting the 3rd door, and what a challenge, a 4th door. So I'll come back to you. So revealed the joists, I've just pulled up a few floorboards for the moment just to get an idea, and as I was saying, it's amazing how much they've rotten and worn away. I mean, if I can, if we were to take, this is just literally, there we go, just dropping away. And that's the register plate for the beam, so that's the end part that's taken all the weight, and that is just literally completely rotten. So unfortunately what that means is even the joists where they join and they touch the register plate will probably be in the same same position. I mean, when you look at the joists here, you can hear they're solid. I mean, it's like concrete. It is incredible timber to work to use. But where it's dropped away on the register plate, it may have only gone 20 mil, but that's what's made the dip. And I'll have to bring them all up. So a little bit of thought just gonna have to be required. But for the moment, I'll carry on ripping the rest of the floor out. So here is the main beam that will run the entire room. There will probably be another one 2 meters across. So I'll get back to them, inspect them, and do what I probably did on the other floors, where I just put new register plates against the existing beams, because as I said, they are seriously solid, and then put new joists back in and build up again. Right, so main beam revealed. Usually they're not too bad. As I said before, they're like concrete. They really are like a nice shape. But this one on one side, you can just see it's just literally breaking up, and then it's just, if I can show you, it just literally turns to powder. So I need to get this right back to the hard part of the wood to see how badly damaged it is. I'm still hoping we can use it, because it really is, even though it's an enormous piece of wood, it is solid. As long as the fixings for the register plate into the beam are good, then fine. And actually, this side, yeah, they're not bad. So as long as the rot hasn't actually eaten too far down, we might be all right. But again, the evidence will be when we start to look into where it goes into the granite wall. That could be just completely ruined, and then we would need to replace it, which I can't do on my own. But yeah. Right, so as you can see, all the boards are up. I've started removing the joists from this side, which I'll carry on down. I've stopped at the moment just because of the fireplace. So obviously we want to keep the fireplace. It's actually, the pieces are pretty good. A lot of the other fireplaces, they've broken up. So we're having sort of jigsaw them together later on, but these are all in one piece. So I'm being very careful now. The problem is it is leaning slightly forward. If I can carefully come over, you might be able to see a gap at the side. And in fact, trying to look at the phone and the floor at the same time, you will see if I put around here that it's come away. So I have to give that some thought. We're going to put a log burner in there, so I might actually be able to put the fireplace back without too much effort. But I'll worry about that later. What I have had to do is bring the board up. I don't want to replace the joists around the fireplace, because you can see they're pretty solid. It's all linked together, and it'd be silly to start breaking that all up and putting new ones in when it's just going to give me a headache. So you can probably see it if I come down very slowly and get underneath that. I've put a temporary beam across, some macros, and then I've just brought this level up so that that now is perfect level. What it does show me, which I'll be able to show you, is how much this beam and the rest of the plates dropped. But not a problem, putting a fresh one in, and then hey, we're off again. So the next thing will be remove the rest of the joist now on the far side, and then I'll remove the joist on this side, and then we'll start putting new ones in, and then hopefully we can get some boarding down. So haven't got back from the UK now. Was going to carry on with the dining room. Unfortunately, Carol and I caught the dreaded bug over there, which is sort of knocked us a bit. So for the moment, all I've done in here is a couple of coats of a wood preservative come killer of any bugs if there's, or beetles if there's anything in there. There's no evidence of anything inside. There has been, because it was eaten away at the end. So I've decided to put plenty of coats of that down on this beam. But at the moment, I've now had to stop this to crack on with the ensuite and bathroom in the middle floor, as we've got guests coming over towards Christmas, and I do need to get that done, whereas this isn't a priority in this room. So I'll come back to that and I have to update you on a later date.
So we hope that you enjoyed this week's video and it gave you more of an insight into the huge challenges that we're facing with the chateau. My dad has done such a great job with the flooring. He was told that he would have to have multiple people to do this, but he's done it completely by himself, and he's done it really quickly as well. So if you liked this video, make sure you leave it a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.